You said you're working on an AI agent. Honestly, I did a demo with we have an IT support guy. Me and one of my partners, we took this meeting with the IT support guy and he gave us a demo and he asked us if we use AI on a daily basis. Both of us already got ChatGPT, the $30 a month version. So we're already using it. He said we're using it more than most people. I'd say I use it at least, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And he gave us this demo and he showed us what the $200 per month chat gpt does. Have you ever used it?
No.
Oh man, yeah, it's a completely different ball game than the $30 per month version, and I believe it's called Pro.
Yeah.
It's called Pro. And so among other things, it has something that is called Operator. And
Yep. Yep.
Operator is an AI agent that it's not just like when you type something in and say, give me a blog post or write a funny LinkedIn post that's
hmm
about blah, blah, blah. It actually takes multi-step directions and it will work through a problem and go online and do an action for you or do multiple actions for you and bring you back something or um, complete something for you. So he's like, let's let's go and ask the Hamilton Tiger Cats to donate tickets so that we can send some kids at the North Pole to a football game. I'm like, what? Let me see this. So he types it in, go out and find the number for somebody from the Hamilton Tiger Cats who can help us lock down some tickets that we can send to the North Pole for some kids to come to a football game. I'm sitting there like, there's no way. There is no way that this is going to work.
hmm
And a little window pops up on the operator and it just starts going step by step. And you can see it navigating around the internet. Literally, it goes into Google, it types in Hamilton Tiger Cats, it finds the website, clicks, goes to the website, navigates around the site. It didn't know exactly where to go off the hop, but it
Yeah.
it clicked past the pop-up. Okay. It got past the pop-up. I'm not sure if it accepted the cookies or not. And then it finds a contact page and finds an address of like the help inbox or the support
hmm
inbox. And then it returns back to me and it's like, here's the contact that I found at the Hamilton Tiger Cast. Does this look right? And it's asking me like checking in midway through to just see if it's on the right path. And I mean, there's probably somebody else out there better than the general inbox for it to hit up. But I'm like, yeah, that works. And it says, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna draft a message to this person and
hmm
ask and make the request that you asked for. And then it shows me the draft and it's like, do you want me to send this? So, anyways, we cut it off right there. And it was like, for me, that was a moment when I knew that if this is how AI is in 2025, I can only imagine because in 2020, nothing like this was even close to being on our minds on a day-to-day basis. But this is
Yeah.
something that anybody can get. It's not like IBM Watson, like back in the day. It's not like the machine that's on Jeopardy playing against a guy. Like anybody could have this. So in 5 years from now, I think AI is we're not even gonna be able to recognize what it does. And uh, I'm partially super excited because I think the cost of it's gonna go down by then. So things like operator will be more accessible, but I'm excited to see like how how much this gets woven into everything we do. Like
hmm
when you get put on hold, you're probably not going to be put on hold for as long anymore because more people are going to be able to be
Yeah,
dealt
like
with.
AI voice agents and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
seen a lot of those on Instagram? I feel like that's the new line of business that it's like the new Facebook ads.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's the new frontier of marketing and business automation is like voice agents, AI agents. You really just slap AI in front of anything and people are ready to go. I personally don't think it's going to be as good in 5 years. I think it's going to take a lot longer simply because most businesses don't have the right data or the right infrastructure or the right processes to really use AI agents or really use AI at a high level. I think some of the bigger companies like the Salesforces of the world, the Facebooks, they will have internal AI agents that will be able to do a lot of things for them. But I do think that a lot of small to medium businesses are just, they're not going to be able to do it in 5 years. It's probably going to take them 10, 20 years, to be honest, in my opinion, because people just move very, very slow. Like there are still hundreds and hundreds, thousands of business that don't even have a proper website that collects emails in 2025. So talking about getting them on AI agents and utilizing it within their business, yeah, I don't think that they're going to be using it that quickly, but I do think that it's just going to keep getting better. It's going to keep improving. And people like myself, people like yourself, who are kind of the guinea pigs of utilizing these AI tools to and making them better, like that's going to help expedite the growth of these tools. Like, for example, just like what when we were starting Playbook and we were just messing around trying to make a website on WordPress, trying to make a website on any like whatever tool we could, it was taking forever. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Like I could probably build this very quickly using AI. So what I do, I went into ChatGPT. I prompted it. I'm like, hey, I want to create a website and I need you to draft me. I can't remember the exact word that I used, but I need you to create, let's just say a SOP or something like that, that I can give to a web developer so that they can use that to make the website. So then I asked me a bunch of questions. I prompted it, gave it all the information I need. And then I took that to bolt.new, which is like a code editor and AI code editor. And boom, within 5 minutes, I had a working website. All I did was screenshot some websites that I like to use and I throw it back into Chat GPT. I say, hey, give me instructions, create a prompt based on this screenshot so that I can tell the developer how to create this for this website. Boom. Before you know it, it's looking the way I want it to look. Maybe there's a couple of bugs here and there, but for someone who is, I wouldn't say proficient at coding, but I'm pretty decent at coding. Or actually, let me not say decent because some people who are really decent are way better than me. But I know enough about coding to work some bugs out. But I didn't really have to work any of the bugs myself because I would just say, "Hey, this error pops up," and the AI would fix it itself.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, I'm not going to slap web developer on my resume, but I could create a website from scratch within minutes, which can help with mockups, which can help with speeding up the process if you want to kind of put it into somebody else's hands. Another example that I recently just used was using other AIs, so like Gemini, Grok, to create prompts to use within the paid version of ChatGPT. And so what I've been doing with that is utilizing it to build out full campaigns. So I'll
So yo, hold on.
yeah.
Why are you cross pollinating? First of all, who uses Grok? Don't you have to pay for that?
No, it's free.
Grok's free.
Yeah.
So what's the point of using uh one chat and then bringing the stuff into another one? Like, how come you do that?
So I personally believe that when it comes to LLMs, it's all based on like word clusters and how the AI has been trained to bring up different types of information that it's been trained on. So, for example, most people will start off by just saying, I want to create a website. How do I do that? Cool. It's going to give you a list of instructions on how to do that. But a better prompt is out there. So, what I've been doing is using other LLMs that have been trained differently to come up with more sophisticated prompts and then using the paid version of ChatGPT with those prompts. So I can go into a Grok or a Gemini. Grok is trained on Twitter, so or with probably Twitter data and other stuff like that. So it's more, the language might be more natural. Gemini is backed by Google, so it might just have way more data available to it that it's been trained on. So I just like going to those ones and just saying, hey, I need you to create me a prompt that is, and I'll give it context. So I need you to create a prompt for an email marketing campaign that I'm looking to run. It's targeting these specific things. Look at this website, which is the landing page or some of the landing pages, and tell me, ask me questions that can improve this prompt. And then it'll ask me questions, boom, boom, boom. It'll create a nice juicy prompt that I probably wouldn't have created myself, just sitting there trying to write it out. And then I just take that, plop it into Chat GPT, and then Chat GPT does its magic.
Wow. Yeah. So that's funny that you say you use different LLMs. I only use two. I use Copilot when I'm at
Mm.
work because it's built into Office 365. But like if I'm hopping Like my days are jammed. I'm telling you, like my calendar is gridlock. So sometimes I go from one meeting to the next. And if it's a meeting that off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure what we're actually here to do, you can tell Copilot to prepare you for the meeting and it will scan your inbox and look at the threads with the person or the people who are on that meeting, and it will summarize what you had talked about in your last your emails preceding this, and it will give you a summary, and it will bring up the documents from the thread that led to this meeting so that you can quickly just get up to speed and know what you're about to be dealing with in the meeting. I feel like that's one of the more helpful ones. The only downside though of Copilot is that because it's something that's made for enterprise and they have a lot of data security so that your input, like your prompts, are not training the model for everybody else in the world. It doesn't remember things. So it won't remember your writing style, and it won't remember if you tell it, hey, when I talk to the people who are inside of my company, I want you to use this kind of more relaxed language. And if I'm talking to somebody with a different domain on their email, then I want you to be with this more professional tone. Like it won't remember that. So in that respect, you would have to engineer a prompt that you can put in before you give it the prompt to say, reach out to, so and so from
Yeah.
marketing and follow up on this last item on my to-do list. So Copilot is cool because it can see your files, it can see your emails, it can work with Teams, it can work with like Excel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I just use like all the different versions of ChatGPT. So like use 4 basically for anything that I want to
Yeah.
do day to day. I use 4.5 for research, 4.5, or I use deep research, which you only get 10 of those per month. So you got to use them sparingly. And then I use 1.0 when I want to write. So if I'm developing copy, then I will, or if I'm developing frameworks, and
Hmm.
I want to build out, I used it to help me think of um what do you call it when you have like an acronym? Yeah, an acronym. Yeah, I use it to help me build like acronyms for some of like the frameworks that I want to teach and stuff like that. So I use only really the two.
Yeah. Chat GPT is, it might not be the best one out there for everything, but I think at some point you got to use them all. You got to just test them all and see the differences and see which ones are more aligned for writing. Like I've heard Claude is really good for writing more natural sounding, human sounding language. One thing I hate about ChatGPT is they're going to use them dashes.
The
it's
dashes,
it's going to abuse those dashes.
the bullet
So
points,
I try not to
everything's a
use
list.
yes. Oh my gosh. I try to, if I use it for any sort of copywriting, I always got to just go through it and just make sure that I rewrite it in my own words. But it's
Yeah.
very good at just taking your context and cleaning it up, which is one of the main things that I'll use it for. Just clean up I'll give it all the stuff that I want to say as just like, boom, here's what I want to say, here's what I want to say, here's what I want to say. And then it just cleans it up for me. And then I can go back in there, remove them dashes, make it sound more like it's me.
Yeah. So some of the prompts that I use, especially when I'm using 1.0 or O.1,
Yeah. Oh, that one.
uh
Or just oh
yeah,
one.
O1. That's the reasoning
Yeah.
model or whatever. I use it for writing. So some of the things that I will say is try to vary the length of the sentences you use when you produce the copy. Avoid superlatives and speak with a or write with a tone to be approachable and understandable, but not so simple that you don't have any authority. Speak as
Mm,
if you've been dealing in this subject matter for a long time and you know it well enough to make it simple, but not over people's head. And like, honestly, that kind of stuff makes it use analogies and then telling it to vary the sentence length, and where you would use a list, break out each point into 1 or 2 sentences so that it becomes a full paragraph. Like giving it specific instructions like that. My prompts are long. My prompts might be 200 words, 250 words. Like sometimes I'm writing, but then the quality of the copy that you get
yeah.
back tends to be so much higher. And then of course, like you're going to put your voice in there. But one thing a lot of people probably don't know this, but in ChatGPT, you can go into the menu and you can train it on files, or you can train it
Yep.
on your own
Kind of build
I
like a
guess.
profile of how you
Yeah,
want it, what you do if you want to go into that detail, how you
yeah,
write. It can learn your
exactly.
tones.
So you like click on your profile and you go to create a GPT, and then inside of there you can name it and describe what it's about, and you
When
can
you're
give it
talking about
instructions.
creating your own GPT, that's the next level.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and then from there, like, you can upload files to it.
Hmm.
And you can upload a bunch of files to it that it would use as its knowledge base. So, like, if you've written blogs, you can upload blogs to that thing, that, or you could upload documents that you've written. You could upload support documents or whatever it might be. And then you can put the conversation starters in. So, like, when you first open up ChatGPT, it'll be like, tell me a joke, give me a recipe. What's a famous movie, or like
Yeah.
who died on this day in history, or whatever it be. You could create those little prompts as conversation starters, and then underneath the surface, you fed it all of the information that's the context it needs. So your prompts don't have to be 1,000 words anymore. It's coming in there already with the context, and you create GPTs for certain situations. That right there is one that people probably don't know about. Like, that's
Yeah, a lot of people probably are not using it on that level.
but I found it helpful because if you're going, like, say for example, I'm writing LinkedIn posts and I need, like, give me 10 ideas for LinkedIn posts that would
Mhm.
be relevant to my audience. It's not going to know who your audience is unless you trained it on that. So you can write down all of those things, like who you are, what's your experience, what you've done, what you hope to do, the things that you like, the things that you wrote about in the past, wrote some of your posts that have gone the most viral, and the things that you're interested in. And then here's my writing style. Always open up with a hook that's going to entice people to keep reading, and you just add in all of these variables, and then now you have a GPT that's going to spit out content for you. You know what I mean? But it'll take you a little while to build it up, but those kinds of things, they're already available for people. They just got to know how to use them and be exposed to the ideas.